Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I've got a recipe for some mixed vegetable curry. I've got fresh spinach, aubergine, cauliflower, peas and other stuff in there. So if you guys would like to know how I made this simple curry, then please keep watching. The first thing you need to make this recipe is obviously a load of mixed vegetables. So the first vegetable I've got here is aubergine. This is 2 aubergines which I've cut into slices. I'm also using some fresh cauliflower. This was a fairly large cauliflower and that's why I'm just using half of it. If you're going to make it for a bigger quantity, then you can go ahead and use the full amount. I'm also going to be using 1 bunch of freshly chopped washed spinach. I like to use fresh spinach as opposed to the tins because the taste is just on another level. I'm going to be adding in some frozen peas, and that's about all the vegetables that I'm going to be using in this dish, but feel free to substitute any vegetable with any vegetable that you want. You can add a lot more than this, you can add less than this. This is not the end or the beginning, just carry on adding or taking away whatever you feel like. You also need some green coriander. You will need some ground coriander, some methi or fenugreek leaves. You also need some garam masala, as well as jeera or whole cumin seeds, 1 frozen ginger and garlic cube, or you could substitute this for fresh ginger or garlic. You also need some basar. You'll also need salt. I'm going to be using 2 fairly large white onions, as well as 2 medium-sized tomatoes. You will need some oil of your choice to cook the vegetables in. I'm going to be using this Kitchen King blend of spices. This is totally optional, you don't need to use this, but we like to use it because it gives a kick to our dish. So I'm going to be using that. I think I got this from Tesco. I believe it is from Tesco, but I'm guessing it's in most supermarkets anyways. You'll also need some tomato puree as well as some lemon juice. So the first thing that you need to make the vegetables is get a pan and put in just enough oil to coat the bottom of the pan. So around 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. You can reduce this amount accordingly. Then you want to add in the onions, and now we're going to add in the salt because the salt helps the onions to cook faster and soften, and I've said this about 1,000 times in all of the videos. But in goes 1 tablespoon of salt. That was not a heaped tablespoon, that was a bit less than a tablespoon. That's the amount of salt we like to eat, but obviously reduce it accordingly. Now we're going to put the heat on a high heat and give everything a good stir. So give the onions a stir on a high heat until they all soften. The onions have softened. I'm just going to add in the tomato, and my heat is still on a high heat. This recipe is cooked all on a high heat, never on a low heat, so just bear that in mind. So we're going to stir this for about 2 to 3 minutes on a high heat until everything just goes mushy. You know what I mean when we get to that stage. You can see now everything's gone nice and mushy, and now I'm going to add in frozen ginger and garlic cubes and just give that a stir until it melts. So once that's melted, you want to add in 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds and the same amount of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon. Give everything a good stir as we're going along. And then I'm going to add in the optional spice, which was the Kitchen King spice, and that was 1 teaspoon. It smells really nice, so I really do recommend it. Then I'm going to add in 1 heaped tablespoon of basar, and now we're going to give that a good mix until the oil starts to release from the spices, and it's still on a high heat. Because it's sticking a bit, you can see it's a bit brown on the sides. I'm just going to add in the teeniest amount of water. You can see now that the oil and the spices have separated, and that's when you want to add in the tougher vegetables, the ones that take longer to cook. So the first vegetable I've added in is the cauliflower. Just give that a mix until everything is coated. Once that's all coated, I'm going to put the heat completely low, and I'm going to put the lid on for around 5 minutes, and then we're going to check back in. Okay, so after 5 minutes, I'm taking the lid off, and what I'm going to do is add in some tomato puree. So I'm guessing that was about 1 tablespoon. I'm just using the spoon that I'm using to cook the vegetables. And don't worry guys, it looks burnt, but it's not burnt. It's just because this is not a non-stick pan. If it was non-stick, then it wouldn't have stuck on the side. Why I've added the tomato puree is just to give it a bit more taste and colour. So just mix that all in, and it's still on a low heat. So now I'm going to put the heat on a high heat. I'm going to put the gas high, sorry, and then add in all of the fresh spinach. So don't get scared because it looks like a lot of spinach. It's just, spinach is like that until heat comes to it and then it reduces. So you want to give that all a good stir. You can see now that the spinach has reduced quite a bit. And now what we want to do is continue to stir this on a high heat for around 5 minutes, because the spinach will release its own water. So we want to sort of dry that water out. Once the water has all dried up, you want to add in the aubergine and then give it a gentle mix. All of that, everything you see on the side that looks like water is not water, it's oil. So just bear that in mind when you're making your vegetables, just in case you confuse the oil for the water and think the water's not dried. You don't want to continuously keep cooking this because it just burns and just won't taste nice. So I'm also going to add in the frozen peas at this stage. Really, ideally I would have liked to use fresh peas, but I just couldn't find any, because fresh peas taste so nice. That was about 1 cup of frozen peas, and then now we want to just give everything a good mix. I'm going to add in the lemon juice, so 2 tablespoons of lemon juice goes in. Do you hear that sizzle? That's the most satisfying thing about cooking, when you hear those sizzles. And now we just want to give everything a good mix. Be gentle at this stage because you don't want to break the aubergine or anything like that. Some of the vegetables are still looking a bit hard at this stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the heat right down, and then I'm going to pop the lid on for around 5 minutes, and then we'll check back in. So once you've checked back in, this is the situation you'll get. You'll see everything is a lot more soft and cooked. And then what we're going to do is cook it on a high heat to absorb any of the water that's left. So once the water is absorbed, you want to add in a pinch of methi as well as a handful of fresh coriander. Now put the heat down to low and just give everything a good mix. So the final little bit is the garam masala. Put a sprinkle of that, pop the lid on, and your dish is complete. So guys, once you finish cooking the vegetables, this is what you'll get. If you guys like this video, then please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye.